Hi students, this is Dr. K.S. Bhosle, working as a professor at the Department of Botany, Navrojji Wadia College. In today's presentation, we are going to learn types of plant tissues, and the main focus is on classification of tissues, meristematic tissues, properties and functions, simple tissues, properties and functions, and complex tissues with respect to their properties and functions. So let us start today's presentation. To begin with, let us understand tissue. The word tissue is actually has its origin from French language, simply means tissue, and its actual English meaning is woven or interwoven. So tissue simply means a group of structurally and functionally similar cells. In the first picture, you can see that there is a single cell, and such type of a single cells when interwoven together, connected together, forming a big structure. This structure is called as tissue. Let us understand the classification of plant tissues. Basically, there are two types of plant tissues. One type, that is permanent tissues, and second type, that is called as meristematic tissues. Permanent tissues are again differentiated into two types, that includes simple tissues and the other type, that is complex tissues. Simple tissues includes Parenchyma, Collenchyma and Sclerenchyma, because these tissues are made up of a single type of cells. And if you see the complex tissues, xylem and phloem, they are made up of different type of tissues together. For example, you can see that xylem is made up of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Because of four different constituents, this forms a complex type of tissue. Similarly, the phloem is made up of sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. These four together forms a complex tissue called as a phloem. And if you see the another tissue, that is a meristematic tissue, which actually remains always in the state of division, and on the basis of their position, it is classified into three types. One is apical meristem, second is intercalary meristem, and third is lateral meristem. Apical meristem, here you can see that is present either in the shoot apex or root apex. Intercalary meristem usually seen in monocotyledonous plants at the region of a node, and intercalary meristem, and which is responsible for the growth in the monocotyledonous plants, and the last one, that is called as a lateral meristem, which is responsible for the girth. So secondary growth is taking place because of the activity of lateral meristem. Now here let us understand that what is the structure of apical meristem. So apical meristem is either present in the root apex or in the shoot apex. So root apical meristem and shoot apical meristem based on their position. Then function wise, apical meristem is responsible for primary growth, that is increase in the length of plant, and it is taking place in both the direction, upward as well as downward. Upward direction, it is taking place with respect to its height, and downward direction, it is taking place within the roots. Intercalary meristem, its location is actually the nodes and leaf blades. It is present at that locations. Function is like internodal elongation and regrowth after any kind of a herbivory. Usually this can be seen in monocotyledonous plants. And the last type, that is lateral meristem. Its location is parallel to the long axis. Here you can see this is the location, and function is responsible for secondary growth, that is increase in girth or diameter. So when plant is small, it grows big. It grows big as it increases its age. So this increase in girth or thickness is called as a secondary growth, and which is being done by the activity of lateral meristem. Here you can see the position of shoot apical meristem. Here you can see the position of root apical meristem. Here you can see the apical meristem. Here you can see the intercalary meristem, which is responsible for the growth of nodal region, leaves, lateral branches, and here is the position of lateral meristem. Actually here it is showed that because of activity of a lateral meristem, there is increase in the girth or the thickness. Now let us understand the properties of meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues are always active and remain in the state of division, and these divisions are mitotic divisions and which are always responsible for growth. Size of meristematic cell is small. Shape is isodiametric. Cell wall is thin, elastic, and there is no secondary thickening. Cytoplasm and nucleus is dense. It is granular with a large prominent central nucleus. Vacuoles are either absent or extremely small to maximize space for metabolic activity. Plastids present in the form of proplastids rather than mature chloroplasts. And metabolism, you can see that there is a high metabolic rate, but the end product is not stored in this tissue. Permanent tissues, that includes simple permanent tissues, that is one type, and complex permanent tissues, that is another type. Actually, simple permanent tissues are called as a simple because they are made up of single type of cell. On the other hand, you can see the complex permanent tissues are complex. The name complex is given because they are made up of different type of tissues. They are made up of different types of tissues, because of which the word complex is used. Simple tissues includes parenchyma, which is basic packaging and storage tissue. Another simple tissue is collenchyma, which provides flexibility and mechanical support, especially in the green stem. Sclerenchyma is master mechanical tissue, which provides rigidity and strength. And xylem is usually meant for water conduction, and it is composed of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Phloem is made for food conduction, and which is composed of sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Because of all these constituents, the one tissue is formed, and hence both these tissues are called as complex tissues. Now let's study parenchyma, simple tissue, that is also named as a ground tissue. The nature of this tissue, you can see it is a primitive permanent tissue. Cells of parenchyma are isodiametric or polyhedral in shape. They possess thin primary cell walls. They contain large central vacuole with a peripheral cytoplasm, and there are present huge intercellular spaces for gaseous exchange. Parenchyma mainly have function in storage. Then they also have a photosynthesis function because of presence of chlorophyll, and that tissue is called as a Sclerenchyma. Then in hydrophytic plants, they can float over the surface of water because of a specialized parenchyma which is called as a Parenchyma. And when main meristem is damaged, in that case, most of the times parenchymatous tissues turn them into meristematic tissues, and they retain ability to heal the wounds. So in this case, they may become totipotent and have a role in the healing mechanism. Here you can see the image of parenchyma. Here you will see cytoplasm. A huge intercellular spaces can be seen. A cell wall is very thin, and here you can see the nucleus and individual cell. So this is what about the parenchyma structure. Now let us move to the structure of collenchyma. The main function is to give flexibility and support. The cells of collenchyma are living and provide elasticity and tensile strength. Cellular morphology of collenchyma is like there is uneven thickening on the primary cell wall, and thickening, if present, usually it is present in the corners, that is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. The location of collenchyma is the hypodermis of dicot stems, petioles, and midribs of the leaves. Intercellular spaces is generally absent, and there are wall thickenings at the corner. The main function of a collenchyma is to give flexibility and support. So this is also one of the secondary mechanical tissue in plants. Sometimes they contain chloroplasts also and perform the process of photosynthesis. Usually in the young green stem of a dicotyledonous plants, you can see the collenchyma in more quantity. Here you can see the structure of collenchyma. At the corner you can see the thickenings. Wherever the cells have their corners, there is a thickening, and in real, the original transverse section of stem, you can see the structure of collenchyma, where at the corners there is thickening. So this is also one of the living tissues. Then another tissue is there that is called as a sclerenchyma, which gives a rigidity. Actually, sclerenchyma is called as a master mechanical tissue, and the nature of this tissue is dead because this tissue is lignified plant tissues, and because of deposition of lignin, it acts in the mechanical support. The cellular morphology, that it is a thick walled because of deposition of lignin on their secondary walls. Then here you can see in the sclerenchyma what kind of cells are there. So there are present fibers which are either long, slender, needle-like, that can be seen in the plants like jute and hemp. There are present sclerids also. So these are short, irregular stone cells that you can see in the grit in pure fruit. And location of this tissue can be seen in the vascular bundles, in the fruit walls, in the seed coats, or usually at all the places where there is a need of more mechanical strength. So at all such locations, Sclerenchyma is present in huge quantity. The key function is structural or skeletal support, or mainly we can say that it is the very important mechanical tissue. Here you can see the structure. If you see individual cell, there are huge wall thickenings can be seen, and in real you can see the structure of sclerenchymatous tissue here. The comparative structure of parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma can be seen here. So with respect to cell state, parenchyma is living, collenchyma is also living, but sclerenchyma is dead tissue. Then cell wall of a parenchyma is thin, made up of cellulose. In collenchyma, it is unevenly thickened, and that is either made up of cellulose or made up of pectin. Sclerenchyma cell is very thick. It is lignified. Lignin deposition is there on secondary walls. Shape-wise, parenchyma is isodiametric. Collenchyma is elongated. Sclerenchyma is long, slender, or irregular. Intercellular spaces in parenchymatous tissue are present. In collenchyma, they are either absent, or if they are present, they are extremely small. In sclerenchyma, intercellular spaces are completely absent. The lumen of parenchyma is large. In collenchyma, it is small, and in sclerenchyma, it is extremely narrow. The function of parenchymatous tissue is storage, photosynthesis in chlorenchyma, and sometimes secretion and wound healing also. Collenchyma is a secondary mechanical tissue which is usually in support and sometimes photosynthesize also. And sclerenchyma gives rigidity and strength because it's a master mechanical tissue of the plants. Then location of parenchyma is usually in all soft parts like a cortex and pith. Collenchyma, it is present in the petioles of dicot stems, mm, sometimes in hypodermis also. And sclerenchymatous tissues are present in the vascular bundles, seed coats, and wherever there are fibers. Xylem is mainly meant for the conduction of water. So xylem is a complex tissue which is responsible for unidirectional transfer of water and minerals. Xylem is made up of one that is tracheids, second that is vessel, third that is xylem parenchyma, and fourth that is xylem fibers. So these cells, out of these, only the xylem parenchyma, which is a living tissue, but rest of the tissues are dead. The key function of xylem, that is conduction and transport of water and minerals, and it is taking place only in upward direction, and it provides significant structural rigidity to the plant body. So xylem is also, along with the conduction, it also performs the function of mechanical tissue or mechanical strength. It gives mechanical strength to the plants. In these pictures, you can see the structure of xylem, which is mainly made for the storage as well as transportation of water and minerals in upward direction. Then phloem is a complex tissue which is responsible for multidirectional transport of organic food, that is sucrose. The constituent elements of phloem includes number one, that is sieve tubes, number two, companion cells, number three, phloem parenchyma, and number four, phloem. Out of these, phloem fiber or bast fiber, that is only the dead tissue, but rest of the tissues are living tissues. The main function of phloem is translocation of photosynthetes from source, that is leaves, to sink, that is to the roots storage organs. So signaling through the transport of hormones and RNA molecules. The structure of phloem can be seen in this picture. This is actually the patch of phloem that is in the vascular bundle of dipod stem, and here this patch you can see that is in the vascular bundle of monopod stem. So because of it is consist of different kind of tissues, this is called as a complex tissue. Here let us understand the comparison between xylem and phloem. The main function of xylem is water and mineral transport as well as storage. Phloem, that is storage of food and upward as well as downward translocation, while in xylem translocation is only upwards. Then direction wise this is unidirectional, that is only upwards, and this is bidirectional, upward as well as downward. Nature of cell, mostly cells are dead. Only the xylem parenchyma is the living tissue in xylem, and mostly the phloem is living except the phloem fibers, or that is called as the bast fibers, which are dead in the phloem tissue. And structural support wise, it is giving much of the support to the plant. So this is secondarily works as a mechanical tissue, and phloem, where it is also giving mechanical strength, but as compared to xylem, it is less. Thank you.